February 24th, 2026 will mark 4 years since Russia invaded Ukraine, beginning a war that would displace millions and leave hundreds of thousands killed or wounded, with some estimates putting that number much higher, and the war has no end in sight. I say this not because I want to, but because it's true. Ukraine is losing this war. Despite the bravery and perseverance of its people, Ukraine is fighting an attritional war where Russia has access to more people, armaments, and money. For every dollar Ukraine spends, Russia spends over 2. Western aid has helped shrink that gap, but has not leveled daily expenditure between the two countries. Russia's allies have helped sustain its war effort by providing the Russians with troops and hardware where Western sanctions have tried to strangle it. Ukraine's entire society and economy are mobilized for the war effort. Russia, on the other hand, has managed to leave the core of its society relatively unbothered by acquiring men from poor, rural areas, ethnic minorities, mercenaries, and foreign nationals. For many Russians, life has not changed that much. For Ukrainians, everything has changed. The war has become a slog, where men die to gain meters. The warfare resembles that of World War I, with trenches, mines, and artillery creating a defense in depth that would turn frontal assaults suicidal. But now the skies are also filled with the buzz of drones, which have become a living nightmare for troops on the ground. So day by day, the Russians attack, the Ukrainians defend, soldiers and civilians die, and the front line moves ever so slightly. Ukraine is ready for peace. Russia is not. President Trump leveled heavy criticism at the Ukrainians for not relenting more in negotiations, until they did. The Ukrainians accepted Trump's demands, and he thought Putin would come to the table with honest intentions for peace. He did not. The Russians are demanding that the Ukrainians abandon their entrenched positions and pull out of the 4 provinces that they annexed. Ukraine will not do this. This would leave them incredibly exposed to future Russian offenses with little guarantee of their own security, not to mention that it's their land. And so the Russians will have to take it through blood and treasure, and they are, town by town. Russian soldiers are brutalized, sent in suicidal waves to push the front line just a little further. Russian soldiers who protest are silenced, their families never hearing what happens to them. Putin's Russia can get away with this. Civil disobedience is not allowed, and any sort of war protest can see you thrown in a Russian prison. Extreme propaganda keeps most of their people in the dark, ignorant to the atrocities being committed. Ukraine is running out of young men and women with the will to fight. Those that do are either dead, wounded, or already fighting. The vast majority of Ukrainians support the war effort. Unfortunately for the Ukrainian government, polls show that most military-age men do not want to serve in the military themselves. Conscription has already seen hundreds of thousands of military-age men leave Ukraine and Russia to avoid service. Russia can make up those losses. Ukraine cannot. I say this not because I want to, but because it's true. Ukraine is losing this war. And with the situation as it is now, it doesn't look like that will change in the near future. This is Andrew's take. See you next time.